Hey, everybody. Welcome to episode 128 of Carmela's Wrestling Radio Relived. I can't believe we're at 128. Unbelievable. I'm so grateful. So happy. I'm here with my buddy Jeannie and my buddy Rich. Thank you so much for being here. We're going to talk tonight about some of Bled Dry, not all of it, because I want to have the people who were at Bled Dry, the people who were at the last podcast, promoting it. And we're going to talk a little bit about that, but then we're going to just talk some wrestling and we'll go from there. So I'm excited. We have two really cool guests. We have a fan who watches our podcast all the time, and we've asked him to be on the show, Mike Ferrara. Hi, Mike. How are you?
What's going on? It's Magic Mike Ferrara.
Magic Mike. Oh, my goodness.
Say this. I'm not only a fan. I've been in this business now for over 20 years. I was an independent wrestling manager. I was a booker. I ran around, and then of course I did podcasts after when I got done doing the managing. But I just wanted to say I am a fan of yours. I love you guys, and I'm grateful that you have me on. And I just want to let you know about that.
Thank you, and we love you. We want to hear about your story as soon as we bring our other guest on. Ladies and gentlemen, without any further ado, this is a guest that we are always grateful to have on.
Yes.
Mr. Bay. How you doing,
Hey.
Oh, hey.
I am so fucking excited to be here. Yo. The heart is beating hard right now because the love I have for you people.
Mwah.
And,
we love you too.
And after this past Sunday, I'm still on the fucking high that's up here.
Flying.
And I have not had a chance to talk to Carmela yet, but I know there were some situations. My prayers and love go out to you and your people. But I didn't even get a chance to talk to Carmela about our fucking shirts to begin with.
Oh, I know. My God. First of all, thank you. The situation, I had a personal emergency, and sadly it's gotten worse. So thank you for your thoughts. Thank you, Jeannie and Rich as well, and everybody who has reached out. We talk about my friend Debbie all the time, and God bless her. She became very, 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 very ill, and now she's in hospice. And
sad.
Yeah, I went to see her last night, and she had some what they call final lucidity or a final rally, which means that when you are very, very sick, you have an almost like an epiphany where you wake up and you're like, yay! She woke up and she said, "I want to go home. I want to go home." And I'm like, "Sure, you're going to go home, no problem." And obviously she's not, And she said to me, and the thing that really got me, and like I said to Jeannie and Rich, I felt like a knife was going right through my heart. She said to me, "Oh, whatever you say, Carmela, I trust you so much. I trust you more than anybody in the world." And, that added to the trauma that I was already feeling. I've been in the medical field as well. I was a home health aide and an aide to the elderly for 30 years.
Really?
And yeah. And I also cleaned houses. I also worked at ShopRite, a lot of that stuff. But I was with my mom when she passed away 47 years ago. But when you are with somebody that you're close to like that, and then you see all these stages, it's one thing to see it on a client. It's another thing to see it. We're almost like Jeannie, we're a family of choice. And a lot of times, they say blood makes you related, but love makes you family. And and she is not doing well at all.
I'm sorry,
but that's all right. Thank you. But like I said, thank you to everybody. The biggest issue is not only losing my friend soon, but every single thing that happens after that is on me as well, by myself alone, So that's
tough.
Also
it's very tough.
It's tough. Besides the fact that I, take care of my daughter still because she's got a lot of health issues, and I have a full-time job. So it's hard. It's hard, but we'll get through it. We always do. With the help of God, we'll get through it.
Exactly.
So thank you. By the way, I don't want to continue talking about that, but let's talk briefly. I just want to talk briefly about bled dry because unfortunately I didn't get to stay for the luncheon. But Rich, I got to tell you, you missed a hell of a documentary. It really was amazing.
It really was. It really was. Ryan Kavanaugh missed his calling. Like, he needs to do this, and he would make millions because it was absolutely phenomenal. And I laughed, I cried. I mean, it was just, when it was over, I'm like, again, put it on again.
I know.
Yes. That's all I've been saying all week, is I need to watch it again now. In my own privacy, just in my own mind, just to soak it all in.
It's kind of like Jaws, you know, you want to watch it 900 million times, but I got to tell you, Ryan's been on our show.
This is better than Jaws. Okay.
No, but I mean the repetition that you know. Ryan's been on our show several times, and I got to tell you, God bless him. I agree with Jeannie. He is phenomenal. He really is. He is amazing. We're going to have him back on the show. I'm going to try and break this up because we can only hold 10 people. So there's no way to bring everybody that I want to bring on. So we may wind up doing like 2 podcasts a week for the next couple of weeks. Bay, you know, if you could, maybe you could.
If I'm available, I'm here. Absolutely. Always.
So I'm going to try and do a couple of podcasts if we have to a week, so we can get everybody who was at the event talking about it. To me personally, that was a plethora of memories and events and unbelievable stuff from the, you know, you have to understand, I was with Joel way back.
Before anybody.
Before anybody.
You made Joel. Let's face it. You made Joel.
No, I'm not going to lie. I did. I'm not going to lie, because in all fairness, Joel was a fan. That's all he was. And I'm not saying this to badmouth him. It's just the truth.
Can I blame you now for everything?
Yeah.
It all comes back to Carmella.
Yeah.
Everybody in the tri-state area, we're blaming Carmella. It's her fault.
That's it.
The godmother of professional wrestling, it's her fault.
Stop it. But Paul and I were the ones that had...
God, Richard, pile on, please do.
No, I was just going to say, it's a good thing Joel's not on the show, because he'd be here to dispute it, I'm sure.
No, he knows. No, I've said it right to his face multiple times. But the thing is, it's not that we made Joel. What happened is Paul and I were always involved in wrestling. I was involved in wrestling since I was a child. Everybody knows that. But Paul went to 9 million different matches. He had contacts all over the world. And when we met Joel, okay, and we started talking about it, Joel did go to a match, and, you know, blah, 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 and all that other stuff. The some of the stuff that was said in the documentary, I'm not 1,000% sure I agree with, but what happened was the 3 of us got together. The 3 of us created Wrestling Radio. The 3 of us created Squared Circle. The 3 of us created Seroma Promotions. The 3 of us actually started the Blood and Guts stuff together with Abdullah the Butcher and Bruiser Brody. Then yes, absolutely 100%. When we parted ways, Joel went on, did everything he did on the TWA completely on his own. He deserves all kudos for that. But like I said, it started with us. And it's not, I'm not trying to throw, you know, props my way. It's just a fact. And he knows that. It's not like I'm talking about him. He's going to listen to this.
Everybody knows it. Everybody's heard the stories. They know.
Yeah.
They know.
You know, so like,
everybody
but
knows. It wasn't, and it was said in the documentary as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I mean, I'm proud of what he did. Absolutely. And I told him on Sunday that it was an honor to be a part of that video. So, you know, everybody knows everything. So it's not like I'm just saying, Joel, and it's not like that at all. But the meeting everybody and seeing everybody. Well, anyway, what happened was Johnny Hotbody had purchased a shirt for me. Okay. And and our friend, Sandra, had it in her car, and it stayed with her all this time. This is the first time I ever saw it.
Let me. So Joel had told me, like, Sandra moved away. He's got the new driver. And I was shocked as shit when I came walking down the street and she was there. I was like, what the fuck are you doing here?
She came back. She
moved back.
Yeah, she
honestly,
likes it better here.
Oh, she moved back. Okay. I thought
Yeah.
she just came back for the documentary. You just
No.
busted my
she
whole
moved
bubble.
back. Oh, I'm sorry. No, but she would have probably done
I
it
thought she
anyway.
came back just for that. But honestly, I'm very happy she was there because that year of hell leading up to One and Done, she was an important part of it all. So she was a referee many times between me and Joel in many of the conversations.
Oh,
so,
and me and Joel.
Yeah,
she'll tell you that. Joel and I fought constantly when he was talking to me in the car on the phone.
Yes,
you know, and she's like, all right, you know, maybe we could talk about something else or, you know, whatever.
How many times did you say, because you know she's there and she's the one with the common sense. So to try to like win over Joel, it's like, Sandra, can you step in on this, please? Like, help me out.
I wasn't that quiet. I'd be like, Sandra, tell him, you know. But she, God bless her, is a saint. She's a wonderful soul.
Yes.
Absolutely.
She's a beautiful person and a beautiful woman all at the same time. And so anyway, she had my shirt. Okay, getting back to the shirt. And I kept saying, Sandra, my shirt. Sandra, my shirt. She's like, oh my God, it's in a box. It's in a box. I got it. It moved away with her and then came back with her. So that
awesome.
day of the documentary was the first time I actually saw my own shirt. That's why I put it on over the shirt that I was wearing.
When I walked in, I noticed the shirt before I even noticed you. As soon as I saw it, I was like, yeah, Carmella.
Yeah. Now, just for a little backstory here is that all three of them, okay, Carmella, Bay, and Johnny were wearing this shirt, this purple, amazing shirt.
Well, so, Johnny wore it when we had that meeting at Joel's house in October of,
and everybody was like, "Oh my God, that shirt."
24. Yeah. And I, as soon as I walked in, I didn't even say hello. I said, "Where did you get that fucking shirt at?" Like that's all I cared about was the shirt. I didn't, Johnny. Hey, I love you. Fuck you. Where'd you get the shirt? You know. So
I did the same thing because I'm like a purple freak. So
yes, I love purple.
Oh my God. And it went really well. Mike, I'm sorry. We're not ignoring you, but we had to get this through. Okay.
I'm raising my hand.
Richard needs to say something.
Go ahead, Rich, go ahead.
Richard needs a shirt.
Yeah.
You want a shirt?
I do, but I also, number one, I want to go back to something you said in the beginning, Carmella, which I did not know. And that's led me to just been thinking about what I want to say here. I did not know that Joel was originally a fan. Now, that being said, okay, I did not know that. Now that being said, and you know I've told you dozens of times how allowing me to be on this podcast with you is my way of living my dream of just being a wrestling nut since I was 8 years old. Joel, so now that you've told me that, which I didn't know, kudos to Joel he basically lived his dream by going out and creating this wrestling promotion. He probably had to finance it all himself.
He did.
He did. And knowing now what I didn't know before you said that, kudos to Joel for having the chutzpah to move forward and maybe put his own money into it, start something. He didn't know how it was going to go. And at the end of the day, you've got ECW in the Attitude Era because of that.
Well, and again, we talked about this before we go back and talk about this. Poor Mike. I don't want to leave him out. Mike.
No, I'm fine.
Tell us about you. No, because you have podcasts and you said you were involved in wrestling for 20 years. Tell us about you.
Well, what do you want to know? You guys asked me. Oh,
how did you get involved in wrestling? What you did?
Did you watch any of the stuff I sent you?
Yes, I did.
Okay, so I sent you a couple of matches. So how I got involved in it was I was working for Pathmark. I'm sure you guys remember Pathmark.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
But I was working for Pathmark in 2006, and there was a guy there. He was a deli guy, worked for the deli. But I had seen him years ago on Access.
He sliced the gabagool, which then booked Mike onto the show.
Yeah, well, basically. So I had watched him years ago on Cable Access, because before that I got involved with cable when I was a senior in high school. I was an intern, and I was and on the show there was a guy by the name of Ron Barr or Ron Barria. I'm sure you heard of Ron. Ron was a referee, Anyway, Ron was showing me all these matches with Kamala and all this stuff. And Magic, the guy's name was Magic. He wrestled. He was from Iron Mike Sharp show. But I was watching Richmond County Wrestling, and one of the matches was Tommy Too Sweet Logan versus Mr. Motion. Everybody knows Mr. Motion.
Absolutely.
And
Great
Wacky
dude.
Wayne. How about Wacky Wayne Wu? Remember Wacky Wayne? Wacky Wayne Wu. Okay. So anyway, all these guys, Magic was on the show. So when I went up to Magic at the end of the night, we were going home. I said, I used to watch you as a kid. When I was joking with him. I used to watch you as a kid. So him and I struck up a friendship. So I could never, ever, ever go see Magic do wrestling because he wrestled for JAP, Jersey All Pro. Magic was involved with a lot. Magic had a lot to do with training a lot of guys that we see on WWE today and TNA and all those other guys. So I was like in awe, I knew Magic, so we struck up a friendship. So one day I had left Pathmark. He called me, it was Thanksgiving. He said, Sunday, what are you doing? I said, nothing. He said, I'm taking you with me. We're going to Hasbrook Heights, the Body Slam Wrestling University, because I want you to come down and I want you to meet the guys and I want you to train because I want you to be a referee.
And that's how it started. How did you become a promoter
and
a booker?
I wasn't a promoter. I was a booker. But the story was, how did I become a sign guy manager? That in itself was funny. So I was training to be a referee, right? And the first time we went to BWO, the main event was Steve Off, who was the champion of BWO, versus Nunzio. So
I remember Nunzio.
Right.
Okay.
Little Guido. So Steve Off comes to me and he goes, hey, we need a referee tonight. I heard you're training. I said, not me. I'm not getting in. I just started, bumping around.
Mm-hmm.
So they said, you're going to do security. So the promoter at the time was Richie Rotten. Richie's a great guy. Richie's a lifetime member of the Cauliflower Alley Club as well. But anyway, so Richie says to me, I want you to do security. So the guy, head security, goes, you just stand there and whatever. So I said, okay. The next time we went to the building, they didn't have shirts for me. So Magic says, so Richie says, Mike, if you want, sit in the audience. I said, okay. So there was a talk show going on. It was called Chaos's Chop Shop. Chaos was the booker. Keikoa, I'm sure you guys know Keikoa, the Flying Hawaiian.
Yes, love him.
Keikoa, right. So Keikoa came out, right? And I wrote on a piece of paper that I love Magic and I hate Keikoa. All of a sudden, the fans started getting on me because I was cheering for all the bad guys. I was cheering for Magic. The next time we went, so Magic called me. He goes, Mikey, you can't sit in the audience when you come next time. I said, why not? He says, because next time I want you to come with me and we'll talk about it. So I went in the locker room of Richie Rotten. Here I am in the locker room with all these guys. And they're doing a show. They're doing like a Piper's Pit segment. So right. Magic says to me, come here. The curtain's here. The music plays. Magic pushes me out. And now I have nothing. What do I do now? So I dance my way to the ring. I get in the ring. The guy in the ring saw me in the ring, and he didn't know what. He almost broke character. He was trying to laugh. So
because Mike's rhythm is that good.
No, because Mike's dancing is terrible. But I capitalized on what I knew how to do. So anyway, so now if you guys, I don't know if you guys seen this, Richard Swartz will show you. So I managed an African American group. Okay, we were called the X Clan, and we were from oppression. We were that bad. So Chaos, being the booker that he was, he brought out chicken. He brought out Kool-Aid for us. So Magic didn't know what was going on. Magic had no clue what was going on. Magic was upset. He was yelling, at Richie in the back. I can't believe this angle. So we went back in the back. We came out. We did the match as the sign guy. So Richie didn't like it in the beginning because Richie didn't like all the comments. They would call me cracker. They would call me bad stuff. But the booker Chaos said, you know what? we're going to stick with this. We're going to stick with this. So the next time, which was in February, I went out with the guys, with my ex-clan. We won the titles off of a group called La Familia, which they were bad and we were bad, but people hated La Familia and they liked us. When I went back in the locker room, all the guys were saying, here he is, the manager of champions. And I said, I'm not the manager of champions. I didn't do anything. It's these guys. Then the next month, we had an angle with Keikoa and Magic, where Magic supposedly broke Keikoa's neck. So now I was managing Magic, who was the U.S. champion of BWO, and I had the guys. And we did 11. We ran with those belts 11 months. And Carmella and Bay and Jeannie and Richard, I will tell you that I had no clue what the heck was going on. I just knew that I was having fun, but I didn't know that doing wrestling with my buddy Magic every week, going here, which
Magic's a great dude.
Yeah, which led me to ECPW, working with Andrew Anderson, working with all these guys at ECPW. How about this? One time I'm working for UWA, right there in front of me, Jordan Oliver, which is one of my faves, and Casey Navarro. And
I love them, yeah.
You know, and then going to Pro Wrestling Magic with Steve Off, with my buddy, and standing in front of Leo Rush, who I love Leo. And I got to see Cody Rhodes and all these guys. But and then working with guys like Julio De Niro, Miss Michelle. I mean, I had a ball. I had the time of my life.
Good. Mike, I'm glad.
Mike, to make you feel better, I've been involved with the wrestling business for like 35 years. I have no fucking clue what's going on.
Yeah, you know, Bay, I wanted to tell you something funny. So yesterday I was watching the episode that you did with Carmella, because I wanted my beautiful fiance, Christina, to learn about Carmella and to learn about the history. Well, you brought up a match with you and Jimmy Snuka versus you, Jimmy Snuka, right? So I turn on.
Do we have to bring that up?
Well, I want to tell you something. They gave you nothing. They gave you guys nothing.
Nothing.
They not only did they beat you up with the bell, after the bell,
we were at group. Look, we were rookies. We were greener than fucking the dead AstroTurf on Veterans Stadium Field, and we were in the gorilla position, ready to go through the curtain. We had no clue what we were doing, and we were saying for 2-3 hours leading up to the match to Jimmy and Morocco, like, what are we doing? All we got was, don't worry, brother. Don't worry. We'll take care of you. Yeah, they'll take care of us. They beat the fuck out of us. That's how they took care of us. We were at the curtain ready to go out. We're like, what are we doing? Don't worry, brother. We'll take care of you.
You know that I used to watch, of course, I used to watch WWF when I was a kid. And even the jobbers used to get like an Irish whip or something. It's like you guys got nothing to work with.
I'm lucky I got to breathe in the ring with those guys.
Right.
Well, look at what you've become today, and that's what's important. But I want to drift off again. Hold on one second, Mike. I want to drift off again to tell you that it was more than a pleasure to meet Coco.
Yeah.
First time I ever met her. She's a beautiful lady. She's a beautiful person. And tell her that I said I'm so sorry that I didn't get a chance to stay and spend more time with her.
We were so bummed. So we're pulling up to the theater, and there's a line there, and I popped. I did. I fucking popped. I was like, this is fucking awesome. I'm so excited. And the first thing she says to me, she's like, I think Magic Mike is here. I said, what? Because Mike lives in Staten Island. I'm like, what are you talking about? She's like, I think Magic Mike is here. I'm like, get the fuck out of here. She's like, no, I think he's here.
And there he was.
So there he was, him and his beautiful fiance, Christina. I was like, get the fuck out. He's like, we woke up 5 a.m. and we drove down, and here we are. And that's amazing.
And then the night before, I had messaged Joel because I wanted to make sure I wanted to get Joel's book. And I've been talking to Joel. So when Christina and I pulled up at the place at 7:23, we stepped out and we went on there at 8 o'clock. Joel pulled up. So Joel saw me and he goes, You beat me here, you know. And then I said to Joel, do you guys take cash? Because obviously we have card. We wanted to make sure what to bring. So Joel said to me, because I said, I want to get your book. And Joel said, don't worry, you'll owe it to me. Like, I never met this guy. I've heard of him because of you. Then as more people are showing up, he's seeing CWO. He's going, what is this CWO?
Yeah, can I have to say this, and I was very, very overwhelmed by this, but I was overwhelmed by the movie, but I was overwhelmed by, and don't make me cry, motherfucker. There was a lot of CWO shirts there, Chubby Dudley shirts, hats. I was very, very overwhelmed. It was a very overwhelming day. It really was. Every part of it.
See what you missed, Rich?
Do you guys know how this started? Do you know how this whole thing started?
What'd you say,
This whole thing started.
I said, did you see what you missed, Rich?
Oh, sorry.
I see what I missed.
Why was Richard not there? Because
ask Richard. Ask Richard why. Richard
screw the movie.
There.
I was there. Why didn't you come meet me? I'm dying to meet you.
You tell him, Rich.
I'm dying to meet you too. Unfortunately, I had a business speaking engagement on the same day.
Oh, all right. Well,
okay. All right.
You're forgiven.
This is what we're going to do. Everybody listen. This is what we're going to do. Okay.
Take control, Karen, please.
I am. I'm going to have to ask Joel because I live in an apartment that's about 3 feet wide and 2 feet deep. Right, Jeannie? I live in a really little tiny apartment. So I'm going to ask Joel if we can do this and see if he'll agree to it. I always call him that because it reminds me of Jor-El and her Superman stuff and all that stuff. Anyway, if we can all go to his house and I will cook.
Oh, man.
Chicken cutlets. Chicken cutlets.
I was just going to say that yesterday when I'm watching your show and you're talking about food, I'm saying to myself, there's a woman after my own heart, baby.
I don't want any problems from your girlfriend. I don't do that stuff. No. As a matter of fact, I'll tell you what, and I'm going to be saying this. Joel's going to get mad at me for saying it, but Jeannie and I are going to his house on, God willing, if everything is all right, you know, with Debbie and everything. But on August 1st, we're going to go to his house. I'm making him chicken cutlets. And I'm actually going to make him an Italian hot dog. So for those of you who don't know what an Italian hot dog is, it is a roll with a nice, well-cooked hot dog grilled on both sides with some fried potatoes and some peppers and onions. And it all goes into the roll and you eat that. So I told him, and Joel was like, oh my God. You know, so I said, well, whatever you don't eat when we come, you can save it for the next day. So I'm going to prepare a lot of it at home, you know, prior to that. And then we're going to go up. But I'm going to ask him if we can do a little, you know, thing to get together. Maybe, Rich, you can then come also. I think that would be very nice.
Now, Rich lives in Virginia. You got to remember. So
yeah.
Shit. Okay. I didn't know that.
Yeah, well, guess what? He can get his ass in a car and he can drive to New Jersey. Big deal. Right, Rich?
Hey, if I'm flying up from Nashville, you got no excuses.
Yeah, he came from Nashville, man, more than once. Okay, so you owe us a trip. Okay?
I got to say this. I got to say this about the other day too. I went into Sunday.
Take your time.
As the last time I might see any of you. Because,
what?
Yeah, well, you know, excuse me, who knows, you know, I felt this was truly the last event we would all be together. So.
Wait a minute. I'm going to interrupt you now. Hold it.
Please
do. All right, hold your horses, because number one, what I talked about at the beginning of the show, okay, is gut-wrenching, because there is going to be a time, probably in the near future, where I won't see Debbie anymore, and that's gut-wrenching to me. But, okay, I just invited us all to Joel's house, okay? I just opened his doors up for all of us.
Fuck him, he don't need to know.
when I'm going to get a call, trust me. Who the hell are
Oh,
you?
I'm sure.
People in my house. And we're gonna. There is never gonna come a time, and Jeannie jump right in here.
Let's give his gate code out.
Yeah, right. If there's never a time that I will let that happen. Even if we all have to come to my little tiny apartment and eat on the floor like all the kids do all the time.
Oh, man.
No, I'm not going to let that happen. I am not going to let that happen. I don't like it.
No, I understand, and I agree with you, Carm, but I also get where Faye's coming from, because you just never know.
Well, that's true.
You just never know. And it's like, well, okay, we can plan for something, but God forbid, what if something happens in between the planning and the actual, execution and everything. So I get where Bay is coming from. But let's try and make sure that we do see each other again.
Yes. Like,
not just on Zoom or on a podcast.
Yeah,
or whatever,
exactly.
And it sucked too, because we were able to. Joel had the thing afterwards for us, but Carm, you had your situation, you couldn't stay. Glenn Osborne had something, he couldn't stay. Gigolo Joe had something, he couldn't stay. Like, when I was talking to Gigolo Joe the other day, and these are people, like, you've known these guys longer than me, like almost 40 years. I've known them for 35 years. And I relate, I was thinking about the other day, so I relate like TWA to my grade school. Like, I went to a Catholic grade school, and those were like my people. And I'm still the closest with those grade school people. There was 40, 50 people to a class that I went through 8 years plus kindergarten with. And then I went to a public high school, and there was 1,500 people in my like grade in high school. But I'm literally like still friends with like maybe a handful of people. But the grade school people, I'm in a group chat almost daily with. Like, there's a bond there. The TWA was my grade school. All those people that I came up with through wrestling school and the TWA shows and everything, that's my Catholic grade school. Then when I went to ECW as a Dudley, and even the early days of ECW, like, that was my high school. And, there's a handful of people I still talk to. You know what I mean? So the bond is always going to be Joel and TWA. Joel, and I've said it many times, and I've said it's on the documentary. Joel was the father figure to me, losing my father at a young age. And ECW, yes, I have the world of love and respect for ECW, and I owe ECW everything in my life in the wrestling business. But Joel and TWA is always the start of my heart in wrestling business.
Well, it's funny because, again, this goes back to what I said about being related versus being family,
Absolutely.
And I swear to you today, to this very day, like I said before, Dominic DeNucci was like a father to me, because my own loser father walked out on me. And a lot of the wrestlers, even to this day, even Davey O'Hannon, when I talk to him on the phone, like there's so many that are still family. We're family. Yes. We've always been family.
Absolutely.
And, and it's funny because when you see a wrestler that you haven't seen for a long time, but you were family with years ago, it's just like it is today. Nothing goes away. Nothing changes. It's like you pick up right where you left off. Like when we were there on Sunday, and Rich, you would have loved this too. And I'm pulling you in because you weren't there, but it's amazing that everybody just picks right up where we left off. Like, we're all wonderful friends. Absolutely. We're all family. We're all,
Absolutely.
And Rich, I'm serious about us getting together, and I would love for you to bring your wife. I think it would be wonderful. We would have a great time. It's just like, as you may say, it's funny. We have a judge at my job, and my daughter dropped me off to work the other day because my car was in the shop. And I saw this judge, and I love him. I love him. And I'm always telling my daughter how much I love him. He's wonderful, whatever. And he said, it reminded me a little bit of a Jewish word that you had said earlier, Rich. And he told my daughter, he goes, me and your mother were always kibitzing. in the hallway and stuff like that. But I'm saying it's like, and like if I saw him in a supermarket, like I would run up to him and hug him. Like, I don't care, you're not a judge here, whatever. But I mean, that's the kind of feelings that you have when you have that situation. Like when I walked in there Sunday, even the people I didn't know that I had just met that day, like Magic Mike and like Michelle Stern and like Charles's not Charles, Rick Money's girlfriend. I mean,
Phyllis.
these are Phyllis, Phyllis, that's her name, right?
Yeah.
And like these people, it's like everybody just jumped right on board. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I don't care what anybody says. Wrestling fans are sometimes known as the crazy ones, the uneducated ones, the no respect ones, whatever you want to call them. But to me personally, in my experience, wrestling fans have, for me, been some of the best people I have ever met in my life.
Agreed.
And that's the truth. Rich, let's go to you real quick. How do you feel about all this stuff that we're talking about? I know I didn't want you to feel like left out because we're jumping in here with all this stuff, but how do you feel about...
Well, first of all, I'm going to extend an open invitation to all of you to come to my house in Northern Virginia, and you can bring your computer equipment and we can do a podcast from my house. Okay.
Perfect.
All of you.
Perfect. All right? That would be great. I'd love that.
I'm only, I'm only 20 miles from Dulles Airport. Okay. So open invitation. As far as what you're talking about, I really wish I could have been there, but I can equate and use an analogy about you and me losing touch for 40 years. And then all of a sudden I message you out of the clear blue sky when I see you on Facebook. And I'm thinking you don't remember who I am. And it's like, oh yeah. Well, I mean, how many times was I at your house in Northeast Philadelphia?
Yeah.
For example. So I can appreciate everything you're saying. You and I picked up right where we left off.
Exactly. Didn't skip a beat.
Right.
And that's
in fact, it's even gotten closer.
Yes, we have gotten very close. And as a matter of fact, Rich and I, as well as multiple people that were there on Sunday and multiple people in the wrestling business, have said to each other on more than one occasion, I'm here for you. Anytime you need anything, I'm here for you, and vice versa. Jeannie, all the time, you know what I'm saying? Bay, Mike, I don't know you that well, but I'm sure the invitation goes out to you too.
Right.
But I'm saying, go ahead, honey. Go ahead. No, go ahead, Mike.
I just was going to say, and I don't want to make Bay cry, but Bay, you know that I love you because you and I have been through hell and back. You and I, when I needed you the most and I needed someone to talk to, you were there for me. Without you, there would be no me as far as my aspirations of being in the podcast, because I was with the network before Bay, and the guy that ran the station was terrible. But I was called, the podcast was called Mike Ferrara Speaks, right? And I was watching this show, okay, on VH1. It was called Dating Naked, okay? And I'm watching the show, right?
Well, that's something I would never do.
And it was not about me, I promise.
Yeah. So, and it was not about me either, because nobody wants to see me anyway. But anyway, so
hey, they might want to see me.
Hey,
Bay, come on, everybody wants to see you.
Guy, you are a sexy guy with those. What did Michelle Stern call them? Lemon pepper steppers.
Hey, my silver pimp shoes.
Right. So anyway,
my God.
So I see on Facebook this woman that the first episode was weeping. So I'm like, oh my God, I see her name come up on Facebook. So I messaged her and I started being friends with her. So then I needed a guest. So I said, would you like to come on? So her and I talked about maybe, 35 minutes before. I learned about Wee Wee before. And then I said, well, you're from Canarsie. I'm from Sheepshead Bay. That's pretty cool. And then we started talking and we did the interview. Okay. We talked about, I talked about Dating Naked. Then I talked a little bit about wrestling because she told me her grandmother and her sister used to watch it. And then they were doing a, I forget what it was called. They were doing some kind of a drive or something. So then she said that night, I'm going on a show with Totally Driven Radio. So that was in 2015. So fast forward to Wee and I are still friends. I see this show. She goes, we're doing this show called The Coco and Wee Show. It's on Totally Driven Radio Network. So I was the first caller. And I start talking to Wee, and then Coco says, well, how do we know Mike? So Wee goes, oh, I was on his podcast, we were talking. So I was talking to her, right? So now, after I hang up, Rose, the mother, gets on and says, who was the host of that show? What did Magic Mike take over? Mike take over the show. So Wee and Coco.
Trust me, she says that at any get together.
Right. But anyway, so now this is the funny story. So now, after that, Coco and we start talking, and they're like, we want you to be our entertainment guy. So then she said, we're going to talk to the guy who owns the station. So I never met Bay. I didn't know anything about Bay. I didn't know who Bay was. When he told me he was Chubby Dudley, I fucking popped. I'm like, I know Chubby Dudley. I know the Hell Riders. So then we started that. And then Magic Mike Ferraro was born because of Coco and Wee.
Wow, that's pretty cool. That is really cool. It's funny because like talking about how all of us met various people and how we did certain things and it's amazing, okay, that a lot of it was happenstance. A lot of it was, okay, we met by accident. We did this, we did that. Like Jeannie and I met when we opened up our professional wrestling store. My friend Rich Fittingoff and I and Jeannie and Joel met when we opened up our professional wrestling store. Some of the people that I've met from back then, Rich came over to buy wrestling sheets. Like that's how we met and just started talking and talking and talking. And again, you coincide. It wasn't like they wanted to be around me, because I was a celebrity or anything. It was nothing like that. We just became friends and we stayed friends even to this day. And even on Facebook, Rich and I always insulting each other, always hollering at each other, always calling each other names. And it's funny because people get the biggest kick out of that. But to this day, and God bless him, okay, he is about 300 years old now. And I'm about 250 years old. But we still to this day talk literally every other day. Either he calls me, I call him, whatever. Like the same thing with what Rich said. As soon as, he mentioned, like he contacted me, I was like, oh my God, this is great. And when you can pick up right where you left off, and again, it boils down to the family thing. I just got hooked up right now recently with 3 girls from high school, 3 of actually my best friends from high school. And It's a very long story on how we met, but we go to lunch now. We talk almost every day in a group chat, and like it just does a lot for my heart. It really does, and I thank God that I have all this support, especially right now when I need it. But Bay, if you remember correctly, you and I also had some heart-to-hearts during the preparation of One and Done.
Oh, God, yeah.
Yeah, I remember those conversations. We were on the phone sometime for a good hour, 2 hours sometimes.
We can make a documentary on all those phone calls.
And then I'd get off and call Joel, and then I'd get back and call you. And then there was that time that Joel wasn't talking to me, and me and Joel had a big fight, which was one of many. And then you got involved in that one, and then we're going back and forth. But again, as always, it all gets
what the funny
out.
thing is? Mm-hmm. The funny thing is, and in my opinion, it was well documented. Me and Joel had a very bad, and which I thought was a falling out at the end of One and Done. And we really didn't talk. We didn't talk for months. When I had my heart attack at the end of July last year, he was the first person to call me. First it was Joel, and then Carmela.
Yep.
And then I didn't talk to Joel for another, almost 9 months or whatever it was, until this documentary started picking up steam for the release and all. But Todd Gordon, who's had his health issues, Joel kept reaching out to him, and I was reaching out to Todd, and we weren't hearing nothing. And we didn't know because me and Joel were not talking. Right. But then all of a sudden I get a phone call from Joel a few months ago, And it was literally right after Todd finally, after 6-7 months of being released from the hospital, Todd answered Joel, and Todd said, "I'm just being released from the hospital. Did you make peace with Bay yet?"
Wow.
So Joel calls me up. He's like, "I didn't know we had heat." I'm like, "Are you fucking stupid? Like, did you not know what, like, everything, the way everything ended?"
Yeah.
But you know, we talked and moved on, and you know, me and Joel talked yesterday and had a really beautiful conversation. When I saw him Sunday, I went right up to him, gave him a hug and a kiss, and he kissed me back. And it, you know, I'll say it till the day I die. Joel, you know, losing my father at a young age and not having that person to be that father figure, Joel unknowingly stepped in. You know, I was a 21-year-old kid and became that father figure and was the first male adult person to stand up for me and take me under their wing and try to guide me. And I'll be forever indebted to Joel. And, you know, the crazy thing, going back to what you were talking about just before we got on this topic, you know, about the happenstance of life and people meeting, etc. You know, I'll be the first to admit I was never the best wrestler. I was never going to be Ric Flair. I was never going to be this one or that one. I didn't realize that then. But 35 years later, you know, I was blessed to be put in situations to be part of something special and magical with Joel, with Todd in ECW and Paul in ECW, with Jim Kettner in ECWA. But I realized this. I started realizing this around the One and Done actual show. My reason in life to be part of TWA, to be part of ECW, was to be with Joel to make One and Done happen and to make this documentary, even though I really had nothing to do with the documentary. But if it wasn't for One and Done, this documentary never would have happened. So it was like, I feel and maybe that's selfish or egotistical of me to say, but I feel like
it's true. And I'm even going to take it back even further, because you're the one who started with the Jug of Wine about the banner and having all those guys from the TWA a part of the 2300 Arena banner, hardcore, you know. And so it all started with you.
It did.
The One and Done, the banner, the One and Done, the document, like it all started with you. It's all your fault, Bay.
Yep, it's all your fault. So it's me and you today, Bay. It's all our fault about everything.
Hey, Carmella.
That's why the best chapter of Joel's book is the very last one. It's all Chubby's fault.
And that's what I told Joel, excuse me, because I got the book right here, and I told him it's all Chubby's fault. If we could blame Chubby. But I just wanted to say, Carmella, you said on your show many times you like hearing stories, right?
Yeah, I do.
I have a great story that involves me, Bay, and the president of the Cauliflower Alley Club, which is one of the best stories ever.
Go ahead, spill it.
So in 2000, and when I got Facebook, I found B. Brian Blair on Facebook. Now at the time,
it's all Zuckerberg's fault.
Whose fault? Oh, so I didn't know. I never spoke to B. Brian Blair, and I didn't know about people duping people being fake. So anyway, so when I did the podcast, I asked B. Brian Blair to come on. Is that Coco in the kitchen?
Shh. Yeah.
That's all right. She can make all the noise she wants.
Sorry, I said to knock it off.
But
go ahead. Bay signed off. Where is he?
Maybe I don't know, but I can't tell the story without Bay. But I just want to say something else, Jeannie. It's a pleasure to have met you, and it was funny because I went up to you guys and said, "Hey, I'm the guy that always, was talking about the wrestling. You guys were yelling at me." When I met Johnny Hotbody, Johnny Hotbody went, "Michael?" I was like, "Yeah," and I'm like, "That's Mike Furr." And Johnny Hotbody is one of the nicest guys. And matter of fact, Johnny's going to come on my podcast. I'm going to have Johnny on. I love hearing stories about Johnny. And I don't know if you guys heard the story about this guy that I met. I met this guy who worked for Pathmark. He told me a great story about Johnny one time. Got accused of stealing a water, and Johnny didn't. And it wasn't Johnny. Johnny didn't do it. And I'll never forget that story. The guy, and I still speak to the guy actually. His name is John, and he's from South Philly, and he's one of the funniest guys. He was a big Johnny Hotbody fan. And I actually got to meet him when AEW first did the show at the old Trump Plaza.
Okay, very cool.
So
very cool.
So before, I hope Bay comes back. But
I think he will. He probably just got disconnected.
But before we go on to that, you guys asked me about the booking. That all began with my friend Magic. One of his students on WrestleMania 25, he said, why don't we come down to look at this wrestling school in Staten Island? It was called Freedom Championship Wrestling. Magic spoke to the owner, and Magic says, listen, if you want me to, because Magic was the head trainer, I want to make Mike the booker, and that's how that is. And there's Bay, thank God.
Hey, did Coco hear what I said and throw a frying pan?
I had to sell it.
You had to sew it?
I had to sell it. Cheat me with a frying pan.
Oh my God! I thought I was.
So the story about Brian Blair was, I had just gotten a computer, and my computer went out. So I asked Bay if he could man the board for me. So I'm sitting there and I'm waiting for Brian. All of a sudden Bay goes, hey Mike, Brian Blair's on the phone, and he sounds like he's ready to go, like flying out of a rocket. I was like, what? And sure enough, Brian Blair came on, and he's like, hey, Magic Mike Ferrara, this is the Ram and Jam, and he's doing all his stuff, Brian Blair. And I got to speak to Brian Blair for a while on the show. I had him on the show a while, and it went good. That show went great. And then after that, when I started getting into the Cauliflower Alley Club, and then one day
such an important organization.
When I was doing something for his book and stuff. And then next thing I know, Brian calls me. He's like, Mike, what's your number? It's Halloween 2023. And Brian and I are on the phone for like 2 hours, just talking and laughing, and we're telling stories back and forth. And then he said, when I had my surgery, Brian had hurricanes going on. Brian was not only was he calling me, he was texting me to make sure that I was good. He was telling me what to do. And he was telling me, Magic Mike, I love you. This is somebody that I idolized as a kid. I still have the old LJN dolls. Matter of fact, if you guys seen it,
and he still plays with them.
Right, I still do. No, but Brian Blair, I have his tattoo on my leg. You see, I have all my wrestling tattoos. That's how.
Don't take your clothes off now and show them to us, though.
No. I was showing everybody at the.
I know. I was going to say we have a family-friendly show here, except when Bay's on.
I gotta say.
I was just going to say, dropping that F-bomb, right?
Him and Johnny Hotbody, forget it. The two of them.
So, which leads me to my next thing, which is my biggest pop. So a couple of years ago, when I was doing,
you don't want to talk about my biggest pop.
Well, I was just going to tell you about mine, but how this thing happened with me coming was Carmella sent me a message saying, are you coming to the documentary? And at that time, I had no plans on going. So it's like 8:30 in the morning on Sunday. Gianni calls me and goes, hey, Mike, why aren't you going? So I said, Gianni, I have something to do. And then I said to Christina, I want to get a Chubby Dudley shirt. And then I said to her, you know what? Why don't we go? So Christina says, we'll go, but we won't tell anybody we're going as a surprise. So now I've been no-selling. So Michelle was writing to me, why aren't you going? Everybody, why aren't you going? You're going to miss this. How could you, whatever. So I decided to go. But I will say this. I was looking for a guest for the Heart Grapevine podcast. And I saw Bill Apter one day. And I was in a Barnes and Nobles. All right? Was in a Barnes and Nobles. And I had his book in my hand. So I wrote to Bill, hey Bill, would you like to be on Smith's podcast? Bill goes, call me. I called him, right? He goes, how you doing? This is Bill Apter. He goes, Magic Mike, what podcast is this? I said, for Smith Hart. He says, listen, do me a favor. I'll come on the podcast, but pick up my book. I said, I have it in my hand. I'm going to buy it, of course. So I bought the book. Bill came on. That was forever ago. I was at the movie theater with Christina. We were sitting. Bill was sitting right there. I went up to him to say hello, and I wanted to introduce myself to him and tell him I'm Magic Mike Ferrara, and we did a podcast. He goes, Magic Mike Ferrara? You know, we did that podcast over 10 years ago. I was like, yeah. I was shocked that he remembered me. So then, of course, I asked him if we could take a picture outside the theater later. He said, no, we'll take one now. You hold my hand, hand. I was like floored. And I got to say that Bill Apter said to me, Mike, this documentary was the best wrestling documentary that I've ever seen. And I agree with him because I've watched so many documentaries. And the reason why I think this documentary was the best, because it was real. It was emotion. It was the best stuff that I've ever seen. And I'll tell you what, Christina and I are still talking about it. Christina's been watching wrestling since she's a baby. Her father and mother, God bless their soul, they were big wrestling fans. I'm a huge wrestling fan, but it's the love for the people and the love for what we do.
Always, exactly.
And
the biggest shock to me on Sunday, not shock, pleasantly surprised. Rich, you'll love this. Did you know that Bill Apter is a rapper?
Yeah, he raps.
My God!
He must
have practiced. He must have practiced this Saturday night.
Let me tell you something.
Give to us all.
We're going to have him on the show, and when we do, he's going to rap
I need
for
to be
us.
there. I need to be there.
He's going to rap for us. But listen, I don't want to cut everybody off, but I'm trying really hard not to talk too much about the documentary at this time. Okay,
we're an hour in, and that's all we've talked about.
But I was just throwing that out there. I mean, it was just getting to see my buddy Bay and getting to meet Coco for the first time. But I told everybody that Bay was going to say Magic fucking Mike. But I'll tell you this. I got to tell you this other story, and if I could curse on the show, because this
no, you already did.
Only I'm allowed to curse.
This needs to be.
You already did. You just dropped the F-bomb anyway, right. Mike.
But this needs to be said because of the joke. So one night I'm up late because when I was doing Bay's podcast, my grandmother was a little sick and my father was sick, so I was taking care of my grandmother and my father. So one night I was looking for a guest to come on Smith's podcast. So it was Twitter. So I see Rip Rogers. I said, I'll message him. He writes me, it's 2:00 in the morning. Call me. Rip Rogers says, call me. So I got on the phone. So he goes, yeah, how you doing? This is Rip Rogers. I said, yeah, I'm Magic Mike Ferrara. I would want to know if you want to come on Smith's, podcast.
Imagine that conversation.
So he goes,
look how it starts out.
So he goes, Magic Mike Ferrara. So he goes, I want to tell you right now. He goes, I'm in wherever he was at the time. He said, I'm working at a gas station, whatever. He goes, Magic Mike Ferrara, when do you need me to come on? So I said, well, you can come on Thursday. I'll have Smith there. So he comes on the show, and all he's doing is cursing. Like, motherfucker, I would fucking. And then he goes, is that right if I curse on the show? Dude, you said the F word 25 times.
Poor Richard's like, how did I get here?
I know. Rich is like, I should have just gone. But listen, seriously, we are gonna cut this early tonight, only because of the fact we are doing it. We are talking too much about one and done about the documentary.
Also, Carmela, I wanted to bring up the fact that when we had the wrestling school in Staten Island, there was a kid that came in the door, and he said, I want to be called Suicide. I said, well, we have a Suicide in TNA. He said, no, my name's going to be Suicide Sanchez. I said, no problem. So the promoter, says I have to, because he didn't have a promoter's license. We had to get a promoter's license, and a mutual friend of ours, Billy Caputo, one of my all time greatest guys ever, was there, and so there was a match. It was Richard Michaels versus Andy Right Leg Ridge from ROH at the time. So now I was setting up a program with Suicide. So in the video you see Suicide and I go with chairs. We're trying to hit these guys. They have bats. Suicide gets in the ring. Suicide Sanchez turned out to be Mike Santana.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So Mike Santana and I go way back. Like, Mike Santana is one of the nicest dudes you ever want to meet. And I was so proud of him that he got so far. It's amazing. And then Billy Caputo comes over to me and goes, Mike, you weren't supposed to do that. You weren't supposed to get hit with the bat. What are you, crazy? So I didn't realize that I wasn't supposed to do that. And then I'm like, dude, don't you see me backing up, trying to get you guys, and you guys are hitting me with a bat? Are you nuts? But that was.
I'm going to tell you something that Billy Caputo did that he wasn't supposed to do. I knew him very, very, very well back in the day, and one of his side jobs that he used to do is construction. Okay,
right.
And one day he was doing something, whatever he was doing, and he was up on a platform. Oh. He fell off that platform because he wasn't paying attention. I don't know if you know this story.
Oh, yeah.
And he landed on a pole. The pole went through his buttock, his butt, and went all the way up into affected his liver. It went all the way up into his rib area. He, God bless him. I went to see him at the hospital and everything, but he turned out really good because of it. And I said to him, how many times do I have to tell you? Look down before you jump. It was a standing joke with us all along. He was such a great guy, and I really cared for him a lot.
He was a great guy to me, and I love him and I miss him. And matter of fact, I got in contact with one of his daughters because I haven't heard from him. He came on my podcast. Him and I did 3 hours on Bay's network. I mean, Billy was a great guy.
Yeah.
And what I loved about him was that when I found out that he was a referee, I used to always see him at these, and I would always come up to him and tell him about stuff I saw when I was watching primetime wrestling. Like, you're the guy, And then of course he gifted me that Paul Orndorff, Hulk Hogan, that he refereed at the Garden, and he wrote on it to Mike, a good friend, because Billy and I were good friends. Billy was a great guy to everybody.
Yeah, he was.
And he was hilarious. Like, one time we met at a McDonald's, and this woman, I went up to him and I said, "Excuse me, are you a referee?" So he goes, "No, I'm not a referee." So this woman goes, Did you know Andre the Giant?" So we looked at her. Yeah. She goes, I was just hanging out at his house with Andre the Giant. So me and Billy are getting our food. So we come back. So Billy goes to me, "Mike, is this woman a nut? Andre the Giant's been dead since 1993.
Oh my God.
What, is she hanging out with Andre's ghost?"
Yeah, maybe. Okay, well, listen.
Andre's.
Yeah. Listen, we're going to end the show now, okay? I just want to give us time to do this the right way. I wanted to have you on, Magic Mike, because I really enjoy having fans and friends on. Bay, of course, Mike requested that you be here, and I would never tell you not to. I love you dearly. Rich, I'm sorry you didn't get a lot of talking to do, but we'll get you next time. Next time, go to the damn thing.
Poor Rich.
Jeannie, you froze again, but I'm glad that you're here, and I love you.
I can see and hear everybody, but yeah.
Yeah, well, right. It was nice to be on your show, and it was nice to meet you guys and talk to you and hang out with you, and it's nice that we're all friends, and now we all know who we are, and
exactly.
And Bay, Johnny Hotbody.
I'm trying to figure out who I am. I don't know.
Well, I know who you are. But I will tell you this. I've been doing this thing with the podcast, on my new system, and I never really knew how to work it. So now I found out that I can actually have guests on it. So Johnny Hotbody is going to come on my show because I want to have Hotbody on. But
Do you really want to do that?
Have all you guys on my show, and we'll work it out one day.
We will work it.
I tell you something. You guys are very good, and I love you all. And Bang,
thank you.
I love you, my brother. And Chubby Dudley will be represented coming up. You will see pictures of me with this shirt, and I got to get another shirt. I just hope Christina didn't hear that.
Okay,
Mike, where can they find your podcast? Where can they, if people want to check it out?
Yeah, you could find my podcast on Spotify. It's Pro Wrestling Now with Magic Mike Ferrara. And then I also have the Magic Mike Ferrara Sports Show. But one thing I got to mention, it's very important in this podcast. No, I just want to mention this very important thing. Our great Bay and our great friend, Bay and our great friend, the late great Nick Wilkinson. I'm just gonna say, I have to bring that up. He made my logos, both of my logos, and I always appreciated Nick, and I always loved Nick.
Shame.
But I just
bless.
I just wanted to bring that up because that's the important part of the story with that. But again, go ahead. You want to wrap it up? I'm sorry.
Well, Mike, no worries. We'll have you back on. But like I said, I want to thank everybody. I want to say one more thing before we go. There is another organization whose podcast I was on. It's called Women's Sports Network. It's about a bunch of women gotten together and they have their podcast. They're part of what is called the Professor Bear Society. Check them out. Okay. They're really good. I go on there when I can to be a part of it. They're doing a lot of stuff for women, which I think is very important. We're going to have them on our podcast too. I think, like I said, we may have to talk about doing 2 a week because this is getting really good and I'm very excited about it. We have a lot of content. We have a lot of updates. We have a lot coming up. We have a lot that's passed. We have so much going on that I think it's important that we talk. We're going to have several more shows with the people from Bled Dry. We're going to have Joel. We're going to have all the people that were here before. We might have to break it up into 2 more shows. Rich, I want you on those as well, because this way you can actually talk to these people that were there. But listen, I got to say thank you to everybody. Bay, Basso, Ragni. Actually,
I like that roll of the tongue.
You like that roll? It's Ranye, Basso Ranye. Yeah. And I love you dearly. Thank you so much for being here. Anytime,
Janie,
anytime.
Love you. Where can they find your you have a sports collectible show. Where can people find it if they want to get some stuff?
On social media, just Chubby Dudley Official, basically on all platforms. And I am usually 5, sometimes 6 nights a week, Overtime Breakers on Whatnot.
Oh, okay, great. Perfect. Everybody check that out. Rich, what you were going to say?
Yeah, I just want to say one thing before you close. First of all, Bay and Magic Mike, it was a real pleasure to meet you on Albeit Virtually. Carmela, look at the one bright side of me not saying too much tonight. You didn't have to hear me kvetch about Tony Khan.
Oh my God. How does that pronounce kvetch? Kvetch?
Kvetch.
I want to bitch about Tony Khan, and I don't even watch the product, but I just want to bitch about him.
As long as you guys don't say oy vey.
Well, that's part of it too. Right. Let me tell you something. I can't, and I'm upset because we can't talk about AEW last night. I liked it, but I didn't watch all of it, so that's why we're not doing it. But I know, but it's all right, Rich. I always love talking to you, no matter what you say about poor Tony Khan. Jeannie, I love you dearly.
Poor Tony Khan. He's got. Do not use the word poor and Tony Khan in the same sentence.
In the same sentence, please. I know. He's not poor.
So where can I find Richard Schwartz? Where can I get him? Are you on Facebook?
Who? Richard?
Yeah, Richard.
Yeah, he's on Facebook. Richard Schwartz. His
I'm
name is right there.
All right. I will definitely.
What, Bet?
I will definitely add you as a friend.
Okay, good.
I got Jeannie as a friend. I got Carmela as a friend. I got Chubby Dudley as a friend. I got Joel as a friend. And by the way, Joel's not mad at me yet, but maybe he will be. When
Joel gets mad at everybody at one time or another.
Give it a second or two. Yeah. It'll happen.
What were you going to say, Bay? You were saying something?
I like to talk to people on Facebook, and
I know.
I love it. I love it.
I know. Good for you. I love it too. Believe me, Bay.
No, I was going to say about Tony Khan. You know, you don't want to say poor Tony Khan, and I was going to say you might want to say stupid, but you don't want to say stupid. You just want to say maybe uneducated.
See, okay, we're gonna go. This is a whole nother podcast now. I like Tony Khan, and I like the.
I do too. I love his heart. I feel
he's got a soul. He's got a soul, and that's not good
absolutely.
for this business. He's got a soul.
Yeah, exactly. I look at that guy and I say to myself, this poor guy, because you can see the innocence in him.
Yes,
and you can see the heart.
He's like
and soul
a little
in him.
boy. Yeah, he's like a
yes.
child. Yeah.
This business
definitely.
will.
Oh my God!
As we know, this business will eat you up, chew you up, spit you out.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's
if you
true.
let it.
No, that's true. But if you're a Nepo baby that's got daddy's billions to go and start a wrestling company, and when the company's losing a couple of $100,000, you pick up the phone and call daddy and say, "Can you spot me a check for a couple of $100,000?" I mean, daddy only owns the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Rich.
Yes,
I love you.
Dude.
I love you. I love you. I love everybody here. We're done.
Can I say one thing about Tony
You
Khan?
certainly
can. No.
Well, you know, Frank
one more and make it short.
Right. Well, Frank Namoli said
that's good enough.
Right. When you gave Mike a mic, we're in trouble. No, what I wanted to say was when I went to the very first AEW at, like I was talking about earlier, and Tony Khan came out and with the TV was off, whatever they're on commercial, he came out and he said, "I'm standing in the same ring that Macho Man Randy Savage won the tournament." You know, you could tell that he was a big fan. You could tell that.
Yep.
but as far as whatever's going on, he's fine, because as far as I know, there's no documentary coming out.
Yeah, exactly. Okay,
check back
everybody.
in 35 years.
Yeah. I love you all. Mwah. Thank you very
guys.
much. Just stay with us. We're going to close it out. Thank you, everybody, and good night.
Good night.